Hey everyone, have you ever felt that knot of worry in your stomach? That tiny voice whispering doubts, making you wonder if you're truly seen, truly respected? It's a feeling we all know, that little sting of injustice, that fear of not being treated fairly. Have you ever experienced that? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and tell us where you're watching from. It's amazing to see how far our stories reach. And hey, before we dive in, a quick thumbs up would be fantastic. It helps us know you're with us. This story, this one right here, it's for everyone who's ever felt that way. Let's get into it, shall we? Imagine this. A man, a successful businessman named Ashton Blackwood, a pillar of his community, walks into his own bank. Yes, his bank. The very institution he poured his heart and soul into building from the ground up. He wasn't there in a fancy suit today, though. He wanted to see something, to understand something from a different angle. Dressed simply, casually, he approached a teller. "Good morning," Ashton said, his voice calm, steady. The teller, a young man named Kevin, barely glanced up. "Next," he mumbled, without making eye contact. Ashton waited patiently, a slight frown creasing his brow. When it was finally his turn, he stepped forward. "I'd like to make a withdrawal, please." Kevin finally looked up, his eyes widening slightly, perhaps noticing Ashton's attire wasn't what he expected from a regular at this branch. A flicker of something suspicion crossed his face. "Account number?" he asked curtly, his tone lacking any warmth. Ashton provided the details. Kevin typed them in, his fingers tapping on the keyboard. Then he paused, his eyes glued to the screen. A moment stretched into an eternity. Ashton felt a prickle of unease. What was going on? "Sir," Kevin finally said, his voice hesitant, I'm showing an issue with your account. You might need to speak with the manager." Ashton's suspicion grew. An issue? With his account? The account that held the earnings of years of hard work, the foundation of his dreams? "Could you please explain the issue?" he asked, his voice still even, but with a hint of steel underneath. I'm not sure, sir. It just says restriction. Please, the manager will be able to help you better." Kevin avoided his gaze. Ashton felt a surge of frustration. This was his bank. He should be treated with respect, not brushed aside. He took a deep breath. "All right," he said. "I'll speak with the manager." Kevin gestured towards a nearby office. Ashton walked over, his mind racing. What could possibly be wrong? Had there been some kind of mistake? Or was it something else? Something more unsettling? He knocked on the manager's door. A voice called out, "Come in." The manager, a woman named Beverly, looked up as Ashton entered. Her smile seemed strained, almost forced. "Good morning, sir. How can I help you?" Ashton explained the situation, his voice calm but firm. Beverly listened, her expression unreadable. She typed something into her computer, her brow furrowed. "Mr. Blackwood," she said slowly, her eyes finally meeting his. "I'm seeing here that your account has been flagged. There's a hold on it." "A hold?" Ashton repeated, his voice rising slightly. "On what grounds?" Beverly hesitated. "There are some discrepancies. We need to verify some information." "Discrepancies?" Ashton felt a wave of disbelief wash over him. "This is my bank. I am the CEO. Don't you recognize me?" Beverly's eyes widened in surprise, then narrowed with suspicion. "The CEO? Sir, with all due respect." Her voice trailed off, her gaze lingering on his simple attire. And in that moment, Ashton understood. It wasn't about discrepancies. It was about how he looked. He wasn't wearing his usual power suit. He wasn't the image they expected of the person who owned this very institution. A wave of disappointment, of hurt, washed over him. Was this how people were judged? Based on appearances alone? "Yes," Ashton said, his voice now filled with a quiet intensity. "I am Ashton Blackwood, and I want to know why I am being treated this way in my own bank." Beverly's face paled. She stammered, trying to find words. "Sir, I had no idea." Just then, Ashton's chief of security, a no-nonsense man named Samuel, walked into the branch. He had been keeping a discreet eye on Ashton, as per his usual protocol when the CEO visited any branch unannounced. Samuel took in the scene, his eyes sharp and assessing. "Mr. Blackwood," Samuel said, his voice respectful but firm, "is everything all right here?" Ashton turned to Samuel, a look of disappointment on his face. "Samuel, it seems there's been a misunderstanding. This is Beverly, the branch manager. Beverly didn't believe I was who I said I was." Beverly's face flushed crimson. Samuel's gaze turned to her, his expression stern. He knew Ashton's methods. He knew the purpose of these unannounced visits. "Miss Beverly," Samuel said, his voice low and dangerous. "Are you aware of who Mr. Blackwood is?" Beverly could only nod, her eyes wide with fear. Ashton looked at Beverly, his heart heavy. It wasn't about punishment, it was about understanding. It was about treating everyone with the same respect, regardless of their appearance. "Beverly," Ashton said, his voice surprisingly gentle, "this isn't about me. It's about how you treat everyone who walks through these doors. Everyone deserves to feel valued, respected." He paused, his gaze sweeping over the other tellers and customers who were now watching with bated breath. "This bank is built on trust and equality. And today, that trust was broken." He turned to Samuel. "Samuel, I think it's time for a change in management here. Effective immediately." Beverly gasped, tears welling up in her eyes. Ashton sighed. "It saddens me to do this, but sometimes difficult decisions must be made to uphold what is right." He looked at the stunned employees. "Let this be a lesson to all of us. Never judge a book by its cover. Treat everyone with kindness and respect. You never know who they truly are, or what they are capable of." He then looked directly at Beverly, his expression filled with a mix of disappointment and a hint of sadness. "I hope you learn from this experience, Beverly. I truly do." Ashton turned and walked out of the bank, Samuel following closely behind. The silence in the branch was thick, heavy with the weight of what had just transpired. What do you think about what happened? Have you ever faced a similar situation where you felt judged based on your appearance? Share your stories in the comments below. And remember, kindness and respect cost nothing, but they mean everything. The moral of the story is clear. True value lies within, not in outward appearances. Treat everyone with the dignity they deserve, for you never know their true worth or the impact your actions might have.